business news from the Capital Region. This is Washington Business Report with ABC7 national correspondent Rebecca Cooper.
Thanks for joining us for a fresh look at business and finance and how it affects you. This week, debate continues over funding priorities in the District, Maryland, and Virginia, whether tax cuts or tax hikes are the solution. Plus, Washingtonians gathered this week to celebrate the life of a Washington business legend, what we all can learn from his leadership. We've got that and more coming up in the roundtable. Plus, some crave it, others hate it. Feedback about your performance on the job. Our workplace expert is here to teach us all how to make evaluations work in a productive way. But first this week on the show, he's been a power figure on the D.C. landscape for years. And when it comes to new and emerging business, he is consistently on the cutting edge of whatever is next. From cable television to the dot-com boom to the latest in on-demand technology, Mark Walsh has made his fortune by predicting what the next big thing will be, jumping in with both feet. He's had so much to share with us when we sat down to talk with him that we're starting with the first part of a one-on-one interview with Mark Walsh. Mark Walsh, welcome to Washington Business Report. If you're at a cocktail party and someone says, Mark Walsh, what do you do? What's the 2 to 3 sentence answer you give them?
I tell people I connect the dots, .com, .edu, .gov, .net, .org. So the technology of the internet, whatever, to the not-for-profit world.org, for the commercial world.com, for the government world.gov and .mil. And for the educational world, .edu. So that's my sort of shtick that sort of connects the dots.
What's interesting to me about your resume is it can't be printed on 2 pages. And frankly, the best resource I found for trying to sum you up was your own description of yourself on LinkedIn. But it's also the funniest LinkedIn profile I've ever read.
Thank you.
Because you put it all out there. It's not, I did this, I did that. It was, I had a blast in these years.
Yeah. Well, I mean, LinkedIn is an amazing new platform, as you know. And
you're using it in a way most people don't.
Well, I figured why not try and be a little bit entertaining, because these profiles get so dry and they're so, to your point, the opening paragraphs are so kind of, and I took over and grew this, and they're sort of stentorian and kind of, so I figured what the hell.
But right now, you're with a company that I think is going to be a household name. It's one of my addictions. It's an app called HomeSnap.
I'm the executive chairman. I was brought in by Revolution Ventures, who is the local venture fund started by Steve Case and Ted Leonsis, my old colleagues back at AOL, another chapter of the resume back in the 90s.
Smart guys, they know a good thing when they see it.
So it has been said. But they saw, actually, Steve Case saw HomeSnap at South by Southwest about 3 years ago, and met the founders and said, I want to put some money in. And Revolution has continued to invest through multiple levels of investment. HomeSnap, the sort of 30-second summary is it's Shazam for houses. With HomeSnap, you can take your cell phone, your mobile device, Apple or Android, take a picture of any house, and it tells you everything about the house.
It's incredible.
Yeah.
Literally, I can be standing, I don't even know where I'm standing. I may walk through a neighborhood. I don't know what street I'm on. I see a house. I got addicted to it when I was home buying, and you take a picture and HomeSnap tells you what street you're standing on. Okay, not so impressive, GPS today.
Yeah.
But what the value of the house is, how many bedrooms it has.
Everything.
How does it work?
Well, it's magic. It uses a lot of meters in the phone, so it knows which direction your phone is facing, even what angle it is tilted, and to your point on the GPS, it knows where you are. And then once it identifies the house you're snapping, it pulls down all the data from the MLS, the multiple listing service, if the house is for sale, and shows you that in a very friendly way.
But even if the house isn't for sale?
If the house is not for sale, you're good. If the house is not for sale, it brings down tax data and other syndicated data sources to tell you all about the house and its history.
I love it.
It's a darn good piece of technology. We're very, very excited about it.
And frankly, if you're not home buying, it's addictive because you're just curious.
Well, we were thinking of renaming the company Home Snoop.
Exactly.
Because everybody takes a picture of their neighbor's house the minute they download it.
That's it. It's the Gladys Kravitz of
good analogy. I like that. Wow.
And some in our audience won't know that, but some will. So now let's figure out where you started.
Got it.
You started in my side of the chair.
I did.
You were a local television anchor.
Yes.
You jumped from that to a big title at HBO. What was the title, and what led to the jump?
Well, you missed the important chapter, which is I
Okay.
went to Harvard Business School and got a degree.
That's right.
Yeah, and I'm not bragging. I'm just saying that you tend not to go from Clarksburg,
That's
West
what I'm
Virginia.
missing.
No, it's okay. I'm not.
No,
I'm
that's
not,
what I'm missing. I forgot to go to Harvard Business School in the middle
There's
of it all.
still time. So I applied to business school and got in and went for 2 years and then applied to the networks to be a business reporter or to get in the business side. And HBO hired me. And speaking of resumes and funny stuff on it, like LinkedIn, the reason I got a job at HBO is on my resume I had the fact that in a summer job in Baltimore, I cleaned cages in the Baltimore Zoo. I listed that.
And HBO was looking for that?
Close. The HBO guy came to the interview us at school. He spent the entire time asking me about cleaning cages, what it was like. How could you tell when the bear was sick and all this stuff? He goes back to New York. He says, I met a guy who shoveled crap, literally, and I know he can succeed here if he can do that.
So what'd you learn at HBO and what led you to the next job?
So I learned that subscription marketing, getting people to subscribe to a service, is both tough, but once you get it, it's great. The subscription business is a fantastic model. Economically, it's very reliable. You can use subscribers to be marketers for your own product to other people. You can get, effectively, you get references from subscribers. I love the subscription business, A. B, entertainment is a great subscription model because people want to be entertained. It's very rare that we feel over-entertained. So you take HBO back in 1980 to Netflix today and Amazon Prime and all that, it's the exact same line of people buying subscriptions to services that are entertaining. In cable, you get a whole lot of entertainment and use very little. But with HBO, you could get one channel and all the great movies. So I love the business of subscription. I was on air some, did a lot of marketing, a lot of business development, new business development. It was a fantastic 4 years.
So where'd you go next?
So after that, I got into the entrepreneurial bug, so to speak. I started a marketing company to market to cable companies. Because as an HBO guy, I saw the cable companies, they were monopolies, remember, were very bad marketers. Monopolists tend to be bad marketers because they don't need to market their services. So a partner and I started a company that was selling all types of marketing and database called Sachs Walsh. Andrew Sachs, he's now dead, sadly. But we were doing direct marketing and database analysis and all types of marketing services for cable systems. It was a great experience.
And it led to some other things that you did later.
Well, that's where I got the bug with the internet. In 1985, with Andrew Sachs, I logged on to something called Dow Jones News Retrieval, which was one of the first online services. And I booked a flight to California. I was like, wow, this is really cool, on a computer green screen with text. Now, I didn't realize that they were charging me $80 an hour to connect to that. That's how expensive it was back then. I went to lunch, came back, my partner said, didn't you log off? So I charged like $300.
But you saw the possibility.
I saw the possibility. So that's really when I got into what is now the internet. But then I joined AOL. Actually, I joined Genie, which was General Electric, had an online service based here in DC that competed with AOL.
It was early for GE.
It was early.
They didn't know what they were doing.
Correct.
They hired a team that they hoped would know.
Yes.
Did you know what you were doing?
I did. I really knew the online business well. I got to Genie, and no disrespect to my colleagues at GE, including Jack Welch. So Jack and I had a lot of conversation. Jack Welch and I had a lot of conversation about where this was going to go, and I said, this is going to be a big business, and he said, I'm not sure. So I'm like, okay, I can slave away at GE. I had a big title. I was president of Genie. I could slave away, or 7 miles away in Vienna, Virginia, is the leader in the category called America Online. And I knew Steve Case. I'd known Steve since '86. I used to be a partner of AOL. So I knew Steve. I knew all the guys there. So I go over. Steve calls me up. He says, you're going to die at GE. So Steve's like, well, come on over. So I hop onto AOL, and I did a whole bunch of stuff there, including business to business, which was just in its infancy in '96, '97. The idea that consumers like you and I would, right, we'd log on and buy something and then buy a book. Yeah. But the idea of businesses interacting, communicating, and transacting with each other, that was new. So to our point earlier, as communications got faster, devices got more prevalent on desktops, as closed communities, the old Novell network we used to see in corporations, as they opened up, then businesses were acting just like consumers. They were buying things, they were paying bills online. So I was B2B guy at AOL in the late 90s, and then jumped to a company called Vertical Net, which was venture capital backed.
So what'd you learn there?
Well, I learned a bunch of stuff. How to grow a company with a lot of people. We had 20 people when I joined. We had 2,000 at our peak. Took a company public on the NASDAQ, which is a fascinating experience to be the CEO of a company that goes public. Learned a lot about shareholder expectations. Do never disappoint shareholders.
So we still had a lot to learn from Mark Walsh. It's clear he has the ability to be ahead of the curve in industries ripe for change. So we decided we're going to keep you hanging till next week for part 2 of the interview as he shares his next big project as to why he thinks it's something you should be passionate about, and more on what he's learned in business. Still to come today, the debate over taxes in our region and what it means for you. That's in the roundtable. And next, in our small business spotlight, feedback, how to handle the truth while helping your career.